Hi guys, it's Nancy and I have the January 2024 Happy New Year Betterpress of the Month and 3D Embossing Folder of the Month from Spellbinders. Welcome to the new year, guys. I'm Nancy. Welcome to my channel. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button. I do the videos of the month for the Betterpress of the Month, 3D Embossing Folder of the Month, Wax Seal of the Month, and Glimmer of the Month is what I volunteer to do for Spellbinders. I'm just one of the many talented influencers that volunteer for them, and then many talented people. Check out also my friends Tracy and Stationery by Justine. They also do some of the clubs as well. I'll link their channels down below. But on this video, I'll be showing you the Betterpress of the Month, which is called Poppy Greetings. And on this one, you are going to get the beautiful poppy image here, and you're going to get two scripty sentiments. One of them says thank you and one of them says best wishes, and the 3D embossing folder of the month. So before we get started, I'm going to cut some cardstock. I'm going to use the Spellbinders paper trimmer, and the first piece of paper I grabbed is from the Brights sampler. And this gives you 100-pound cardstock, and you get a couple different colors. I believe this one is called Poppy Field. It's either, I don't know which one it is, but I believe it is Poppy Field. It's a bright red, which is this one. And we're going to cut this one down, and then also a piece of the porcelain cardstock for the Betterpress. This is 118 pound, and we're going to cut a piece of this down. So this will be my background matte piece that we are going to use for the embossing folder, and this will be our Betterpress piece. Okay, so using our trimmer, and I normally make A2 size cards. We're going to cut this one down to 5.5. Easy peasy by 4.25. So that'll be our background piece. Save these for another card. And then this one we will cut down to 5.25 by 4. And that'll be our Betterpress piece. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is our 3D embossing. Okay, and I am just going to spritz this off camera. I just gave you guys a sneak peek of something. So that's just slightly damp. And with the Spellbinders Platinum 6, we are going to use our Spellbinders base plate. Our 3D embossing folder, and then our D adapter plate. And just run that through. And there it is, perfectly 3D embossed. And that's all we need for our background, and I have a card base ready to go here. Okay, so that's done for that. And then for our Betterpress, let me move this to the side for a second. I know many of you got the Betterpress for the holidays. Congratulations. I use a little piece of Sizzix sticky grid on mine. It's a low tack, non-permanent, just double stick. And I have that across the whole plate there. And mine is a little grungy from being used. That's okay. It doesn't affect anything. We're going to take our plate and just put that right on the center there. And I think I will use Thank You for my sentiment. And I'm going to put that, if I want that on the right side of my card, that has to go on this left side, right? Everything's the opposite. Of course, you don't have to do your sentiment right away, but all right, and I'm just going to use regular black Betterpress ink. And you just kind of want to press and do a little bit of a twist. I do recommend the Betterpress inks or Ranger Archival inks. They're the perfect size with the little ink pads, or pigment inks work really nicely. They stick to the plates. And remember, these plates are great for foiling. Okay. And just be careful when you get to the sentiment. It's a small sentiment, so it might shift a little bit. So just take your time when you get to that. Okay. Any ink that you get on the edges, you might want to wipe that up. Now, one of the tips that one of my viewers gave me is they use a little press and seal underneath their plate so they don't get ink all over there. So you could certainly do that. I don't mind the ink. I just wipe it up. Okay. Now, you're going to want to use tape in the corners is what Spellbinders recommends. Again, I use a little non-permanent. You don't want permanent. And this will last me 5 to 10 prints. And I can see the corners. Now, my piece of paper is a little smaller, so I just want to make sure that I have it centered. You know what? I probably should go with a bigger piece of paper and cut it down. We're going to go with the bigger one, and we're going to cut it down. There we go. Not taking any chances. Cutting another one. I'm not worried about my ink drying out because it's a solvent-based ink, so we have a little bit of playtime. This piece of paper is way longer, but I wanted to make sure I didn't cut anything off. Yeah, much longer than what I needed, but this way I know I'm not cutting anything off. Now, there are 4 little magnets in the corners here, and all we're going to do is just let those magnets connect. What we don't want to do is press this down, and so when we bring our Spellbinders, or whatever die cutting machine you're going to use, there's several machines that this will work with, is we want to make sure we don't press that top down. On the Betterpress, we're just grabbing it by the handle here, but I'm not pressing anything down. I don't want that ink to touch. I'm just going to carefully put it in there and roll it through once. And then when I remove it at the end, same thing. I'm going to be careful not to touch that top as it comes out the back. It's going to lift the springs off the top. And I'm going to just grab it from the bottom. And I'm going to just grab this handle here as I remove my machine. And again, not touching that top, because I don't want to accidentally push down on that and get a double imprint. And you can see how that pressed beautifully. And I am so glad I went with that bigger piece of paper, because if I had gone with that smaller piece of paper, I definitely would have cut something off. This is a much bigger Betterpress plate for you guys that are looking to make larger cards. Now I'm thinking maybe I won't use this background because this is a bigger plate. It might take away by me cutting it down. And you can see that unsticks. Looks gorgeous. We can move this out of the way. And then the next part is just deciding how I want to color this in. I can use watercolor markers. I can use watercolors. I can use color pencils, whatever I want to use. I do like the color of that background, but I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to make this a little bit bigger card. I normally don't do 5x7 cards, but this is so pretty in that larger format. And because this embossing folder is larger, I can make this a 5x7 card. I think we're going to do that. Sometimes you got to pivot, right? So maybe not 5x7, but a little bit larger, because how big is this now? This is now, yeah, this is now almost 6 by 4 1/4. Yeah, I might have to do 5x7. Let me grab a larger piece of card base and I'll be right back. We're gonna pivot, you guys. Okay, grab the card base. So to do a 5x7, we're gonna make this 10 inches. We're gonna make this 7 inches. We're going to score this at 5 inches. So scoring is the second blade. So we slide the first blade out of the way and we use the second blade to score. So we now have a 5x7 card base. Ooh, I think we're going to manage this just fine. And then maybe we bring in some black. Oh, yeah. Okay, so then we're going to make this. We're going to make this 5x7, and we're going to also mat that other one in black. Not just any black. Black. Black glitter. This is from the Glitter Cardstock Jewel Tone Assorted. I'm going to mat that, but I'm going to die cut this out of the center because I don't want to waste it. How big is that? If I cut it that way or if I cut it this way? Okay, let me go this way. So another thing I can do with this trimmer is I can actually just kind of cut a little frame. Spellbinders snips here. So now I have not wasted my glitter cardstock. Okay, so now I have my frame. I can mat this. No one's going to know but you guys. I saved this for another project. Right? I could do the same with this cardstock, but I'm not going to. Look at that. Okay. We are off to the races. Look at how beautiful that is. Oh, I need to run this through the embossing folder. We need to emboss this. Okay, so we're going to spray this again. Back to your little sneak peek. Okay. Base plate. 3D embossing folder. See, that's what's nice about these large embossing folders is you don't have to make one size card. You can make any size you want. Crank that through. Yep, some of that excess water. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Okay. So now it's just a matter of coloring this in a little bit. These are just my Zig watercolor markers. Just adding a little color to my mat and then grabbing that with a watercolor brush and coloring that in. Use whatever you have. my Korean markers, which you can also pick up at Spellbinders. I'm going to grab a deep dark red here. This is called lipstick red. This is, the Zig one is just called red, I believe. Carmine red. So I'm going to mix the two. One is a brighter red and one is a darker red. And I like mixing on my glass mat so I have less brush strokes from the marker. Bring in a little bit of my orange. I like the brightness of the orange. But remember, poppies come in different colors. They come in red, they come in orange, they come in yellow. I think there's even like a black version, a dark purple version. So you can make them any color you want. Poppies symbolize so many different things, so many different people. So, beautiful, gorgeous flower. You don't have to be an artist. Somebody has already drawn this for you. Highlights are already there. Shadows are already there. All you have to do, run this through your Betterpress. Or again, if you don't have a Betterpress, you just have a glimmer or hot foil machine. You don't have to do Betterpress. You can do hot foiling with these. Just got to add a little color. You don't even have to add color. These look great just printed. Or foiled, like I said. And if you wanted more concentrated color, you could go direct to paper. I would maybe wet the paper a little bit just so you have some time to move it so it's not so dry. But this Betterpress paper is essentially watercolor paper. It holds up very well and it does move. But like I said, you could go direct. You could go direct to paper with the color, and then you have a little bit of time to move it if it's already got some color down or some water down. But I wouldn't go in there just dry right away, because then you don't really have, it soaks it up so quick. You don't really have a lot of time to move it. So just make sure you have some color down or you have some water down to move it. That'll give you a little bit of working time. Whatever you want to do, though, you're the artist. No one can tell you how you want it to look. You do it any way you want. Color pencils work great too. See, I'm starting to dry out here, so I gotta. That could have been a disaster. Almost flipped it right into the wet ink. I would have just covered it up with a sentiment. Right? That's how we fix it. It's a chance to put an embellishment over it, right? Or make a cool background, like a splatter background or something. Oh, I did splatter it. Ugh. I'll show you how to fix that. Right there, it dipped. So when something like that happens, when you have a watercolor piece like this, how you fix it or try to fix it is, let me clean up my mess here. Dripped right in there. Is you want to get clean water, and you basically want to oversaturate it. And clean water should lift that out of the way. Basically, you take clean water and just scrub at it. I should be using a clean paper towel too instead of a dirty rag. See, and it'll basically erase it and lift it. Okay, I've cleaned most of that up. Oh, okay. Fixable. Fixable. All right. Shh, don't tell anybody I did that. Let's clean this up and move it out of the way. All right, so I'm going to take a heat tool to this a little bit just to dry it. Heat tool's not plugged in. Up there it is. All right, let's assemble all of this. I'm going to start with my background. I have my handy dandy Spellbinders tape runner. super smooth, super strong. Come on. Apparently I can't see straight today. There we go. All right. Then I'm going to do my border. You can also use strong liquid adhesive for this. Look at that pretty glitter. And then on this piece, I'm going to use a lot of adhesive just because there's a little bit of warping from the water, but that's okay. Lots of extra. A lot of extra. Is that crooked? It looks a little crooked. Oh, I should have probably maybe put an extra piece of foam behind there to give it some dimension. And then I'll probably put a little bit of, like the little jewels, the pearls on here. But look how pretty this came out. That's using the 3D embossing folder of the month, which I've lost now. Where did I put it? Where did I put it, you guys? Oh, here it is, under my markers. January 3D embossing folder of the month. That's part of the club kits. The January Betterpress of the month. Assorted papers. Glitter paper. Betterpress paper. Betterpress adhesive. Careen markers. Pretty much almost everything you can pick up over at Spellbinders. If you had fun watching my process and having to pivot, let me know. I don't really make 5x7 cards, but I really liked how this came out. If you had fun, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, check out the description for all the products that I've used, or comment down below. Let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye. Okay, guys, I didn't like how my card was a little crooked, so I lifted it and moved it at an angle, and I'm glad I'm adding these Color Essential Gems in Onyx. Just gonna pop a few of these off. And just add like 3 of those. I think black ink splatters would have also looked nice, especially if you did have any splats from watercolor mistakes or anything like that. Maybe we'll do 5. I think 5 would be a good odd number. Again, triangle formation. There we go. And that finishes off our card. All right, there you go. Again, if you had fun watching me make this card, give it a thumbs up before you leave. Any questions, put it down below in the comments. I did want to ask you guys, what size card do you normally make? A2, or are you glad to start seeing these 5x7 or different card sizes? So put that down in the comments below. I'm just curious. I want to know. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.